Wreck My Podcast.
This episode will have you saying, "That's a lot of nuts." We cover Kung Pao Enter the Fist with special guest Tim this week on Wreck My Childhood.
Wreck My Podcast.
Welcome to Wreck My Podcast, where this week we're covering Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Man, I never thought the day would come, but it's here. We're doing it. I'm here with my guest this week. He's got squeaky shoes. It's Krager.
I've got some yellow liquid for your popcorn, and it's non-dairy.
And there he is. He goes pee-pee standing up, some other yellow liquid. It's Joe. And then I'm your host. I've got a heavy heart and weak prostate. My name is Jordan, but we are joined here by a special guest. He is known as a comrade, a cohort, a co-conspirator, but more importantly, he's going to be our co-host this week. That's right. It is Tim. France, who's joining us? Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing incredible after that intro. I have to be completely honest with you. I was like, is it a dick move to try to put that specific sound that you played on our soundboard to play from our side to over to your side, and then you did it anyway?
Yeah, I thought that'd be perfect for you. I had to keep you comfortable in our podcast setting, being in the podcast setting you're used to, by introing you the way that Big Chuck would intro you.
I really appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
I already feel like I'm in a hostile environment. It's so good.
How does it feel being on the podcast to which your podcast is a tribute podcast to our podcast?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that you guys are the best podcast ever made, but our podcast certainly is a tribute to it.
Yes.
I'll take it. It's not the greatest. It's just a tribute.
Considering you're the founder of your podcast, was a patron of ours before your podcast even started. So, just saying.
Listen, scared money don't make money. Okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scared money don't make. Love it.
So Tim, you are from a podcasting network called The Professional Casual, where the good chunk of your shows are more like D&D based, Warhammer, what Marvel Crisis Protocol, I think you do. But the one that we adore as a podcast is the show
the only one that doesn't fit the mold.
Exactly. The flagship show, if you will, is Elite Eight Showdown. And I got to say, that show is top 3 for me all the time. I love that show so much. You guys are great. So tell us a little bit about your what goes on there, so that people at the beginning here, we'll let you plug at the beginning, so people got to listen to that before they get to the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Elite Eight Showdown, Chuck comes up with a bracket of 8 things that could be about anything and everything each week. And then instead of really defining the better parts of each bracket and what they bring to the table, we just fight and bring up old scars and kind of argue a whole lot. And then we end up choosing a winner by the end of the show.
Yeah, and for those of you that want to know, I brought a little clip here that will tell you exactly what this show is like. So, yes,
I hate to say it, but Elite Eight Showdown, pro-ancestral marriage. As long as you don't procreate.
Hey, so do you remember
what
in a year when we come back
and we get canceled
and we say, where did it all go wrong? It's going to be in that episode where we talked about reanimating Nancy Reagan, deep throat you.
Yeah.
And that brother-sister incest is fine.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you need to know anything more about why I love your show, it's for that right there.
Out of all the episodes we've done, there's only been one time where after I hit the record button, I was like, you know what, man, I don't think I can cut 45 minutes out of that hour-long show. That's going to be rough. And I'm really glad you brought that clip.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you would be so happy that that's your shining achievement on our show over here. But to be honest, I mean, as long as people know it's your shtick, there's nothing to be sorry about.
Right? Yeah, 100%. We play characters on that show.
I
think
was
it's
gonna
very
say
clear.
I was always fascinated and curious how you guys managed to get so many famous people on your show.
Yes. Honestly, it's community service for them. We signed up as a spot, 'cause as you know, Chuck has spent a lot of time in our criminal retention system, and through that, he made a deal with one of the judges saying that he could be kind of an outlet for people to serve community service. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Birdsteins, there's a whole load of people that
R.I.P.
have
Betty
all
White.
done their time.
Yeah, I was going to
R.I.P.
say,
Betty White.
Not to mention, that was one of the last things Betty White did.
Yes,
I know.
Yep. We killed Betty White before the world did.
Which have you guys found Arnie out there at the sea yet, or is he still lost?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
dead, I thought.
Listen, great question. I don't have a comment on this on that at this time. But international waters are very much specifically not part of our working environment.
Yeah, well, we do know one thing. Big Chuck does a terrible Arnie, so there you go. So moving on, we're here to actually talk about. So moving on, we're going to go into Jordan Explains the Movie quickly here, and I'm going to actually do this live, which I never do, which is a great thing to decide to do on the week where I'm coughing up a storm. But let's get into Jordan Explains the Movie.
Oh yes, it's time for Jordan to explain the movie quickly.
There's a dude who's the chosen one because he has a sentient tongue. Master Phen doesn't like sentient tongue, so he tries to kill the chosen one as a baby and fails. As an adult, the chosen one returns to take on Master Phen and his deadly iron claws. There's some kung fu fighting with one-breasted women and cows, which coincidentally is what happens in a deleted verse of the song Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting. The Chosen One and Master Phen have their final confrontation where we learn that there's French aliens and flying pyramids because that's exactly what this movie needed. Just when the Chosen One looks like he's going to lose, his sentient tongue goes and helps him defeat Master Phen so we can get a sequel.
Yay!
There we go. Dang it. Yep, that thing. So how'd you guys like the movie? Tim, you tell us because you picked this movie. How did you like it?
I did. So I watched it like literally right up until I came over here to record today, and the thing about this movie that's so great is it doesn't go 15 seconds without a joke. The joke might not be good, but it is one after another. It just pounds you. And Steve Odekirk does every single voice in this thing, outside of maybe 3. It's just phenomenal from start to finish.
Good.
It held up for me.
So when was the last time you saw this movie, Tim?
Well over 10 years ago, because I've been married to my wife for I think 10 years, and we watched it when we first started dating, which would have been about 15 years ago. I saw it in theaters opening weekend.
Wow.
In a really crappy, only on a
True
1
fan.
or 2 theater that had like no movies playing. Everyone would go to the mall to see the real movies, and whatever wasn't there was normally garbage and playing at like the local theater. I went and saw it. I was one of 4 people in the audience, and when that baby was rolling down the hill, gets picked up and then dropped down the hill again, I was literally in the aisle laughing my ass off. I'm one of those like silent like, huh, yeah, that was funny people, but I was crying laughing at this movie initially as an 11 or 12-year-old boy.
That's awesome. Yeah, so Krager, how about you? When was the last time you saw this movie?
It's been many years since I've seen it. I honestly couldn't tell you, maybe 10 plus years, but I remember I didn't see it in theaters, but my dad, great judgment apparently, he rented this, and me, him, and my brother watched it, and I remember as a kid just dying, thought it was the funniest thing ever. and I was a little bit nervous rewatching. I gotta say, I don't know if it held up, but it definitely was still got me chuckling here and there.
And then Joe, what about you?
I have never seen this movie before.
What'd you think?
Oh, you're not going to have a good response to this movie then.
So, it's not I would never say this is a good movie. However, it's like when you see something so bad that you can't look away and just find yourself somehow enjoying it. It's really weird. That's exactly how I felt through this whole movie. I didn't think it was good. There were a few parts that I did laugh, but it was like I couldn't not watch. I wanted to watch more, and I ended up loving
syndrome.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it just kept going. And I think I loved it so much because it seemed like something exactly like what we would do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It does seem like a movie you would make with your friends.
Exactly. And I think that's why I loved it so much.
Yeah, I realized I have never seen this movie either. I thought I did because I was like, oh yeah, Kung Pao, I remember this movie. And then rewatching, I was like, why did I think this was an animated movie? So I thought it was something else. Yeah, so I never saw this movie. The cow thing was super weird. I don't know how I like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was a little strange. So my next question is, are you guys familiar with any Steve Odenkirk's other properties?
Yes, I am.
100%.
And you want to talk about those properties?
Absolutely.
100%.
Tell me about them. What are those properties?
Tim, take it away.
We got Joanna Man. I think he was a
I love
writer.
Joanna Man.
I think he wrote and directed the second Ace Ventura movie.
He did. Yes,
Oh.
he did. Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite one.
And I think the Nutty
It is
Professor
When
too?
Nature Calls.
Nutty Professor 1 and 2. Jimmy Neutron he wrote.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of the Thumb movies.
Thank
Yes,
you. Okay,
Thumb movies.
I thought because that's where I was going. I thought you left those out. I was
That's where you
like,
lost
Tim,
me.
there is no way you have not seen the Thumb
Oh,
movies.
I adore them. I have the collection. I bought them individually
my
as they were coming
gosh.
out. I am still waiting for World Thumb Wrestling, and there's another Thumb movie that was always teased but never came out. But yeah, God Thumb, Bat Thumb, Franken Thumb, Thumb Wars.
Yeah, the only two I think I've seen are Thumb Wars and Thumbtanic.
Oh, and Thumbtanic, yes.
You guys are like speaking a completely different language. I have no idea what you guys are
Dude,
talking about.
you've
right
You've
now.
never seen the Thumb movies, Joe?
No,
the
I've never
Blair
even
Thumb.
heard of them.
Dude, imagine his humor, but it's basically all thumbs.
Yeah, so you know how you really liked the animated
thumb with
tongue
the-
in Kung
the-
Pao?
yeah,
They
with
just
the
did
wig.
that same animation on thumbs for every, modern classic.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that big of a fan of the tongue thing.
That's what she said.
Nice.
It all goes back to it, Tim.
So Steve Odenkirk actually wrote Bruce Almighty as well.
What?
Was it Bruce or was it Evan Almighty?
Both.
Oh my word!
Mm-hmm.
He is a
All right.
treasure.
Yeah, he can write the best and the worst. He writes the
I
whole
like his
gamut.
work.
He writes everywhere in between. He also wrote Cowboys and Aliens, which is a random
Oh
one for him.
wow!
I think that was the last thing he worked on too, professionally, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Huh.
wasn't like a Thumb movie.
Yeah.
Because he's still making them. He's still doing
Wait,
some
really?
stuff. He made a trailer, Thumb Wars Episode 9, something of the thigh of the Sky Ripper or something.
What?
It's out there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a trailer for Episode 9. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I came here to learn.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
love it.
He's still making stuff, so there you go. All right, so what are your favorite parts of the movie? Let's talk about some favorite parts because there's so many jokes in it. So, what are the favorite jokes?
Oh, that's really hard to narrow
Yeah,
down.
like I don't know, like it's not necessarily one of my favorites, but anytime anyone says the word Neosporin, all I think is Neo. Nah, 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 nah. Sporin. That's all I can think about every time, no matter what.
when I'm driving in a new city, I will tell my wife, "Tell me if you see a Radio Shack."
Oh my god. The what do you get when you cross now with a bungee cord song goes through my head at least once a month.
That's a lot of nuts is a regular one in my repertoire.
I didn't get that joke.
It's just dumb. That's all it is.
Oh, is that what it is? It's
yeah,
not
it's
actually like a punchline?
Nope, just dumb.
Oh, okay.
Nearly anything Windblow says, like, I'm a man too, I go pee-pee standing up, or I'll try my nuts to your fist style. Just gold.
Gold. So did you guys know that the tongue is actually credited as Escobar tongue?
Oh my god, no.
No.
Escobar tongue.
Yeah, and Mushu Fasa plays himself.
Nice.
That was a weird moment for me. I was like, okay, what is happening here? Are we doing now Disney parody? What's going on?
It was all good.
Yeah.
back in the day.
There's not a lot of lines in this movie that I would say were funny or that actively made me laugh. The parts that did were the things where like they had to adapt to like things that were from the original Japanese movie, where like the guy where he kind of looks like he's coughing, so they had to put like this fly like to go in his mouth, and it keeps going in, and he has to like
What are the odds?
Exactly. They changed the dialogue with it. Like that stuff had me busting up.
See, I kind of
My-
love when they went the other way, where it's all like, "That's a lot of nuts." Sorry if you're blew out your ears, but I do it like it
Yeah.
was in the movie. So
We don't care if our listeners can hear. That's not something they need.
I think one of my favorite parts that always sticks out in my mind is in the beginning where they're doing that zooming in thing, and the big bad guy has that little triangle, and it looks so epic, and he throws it on the ground, and it just like just fizzles out and drops his shoulders.
That's really funny.
enjoyed
And
that.
I really like the part where the guy's responding back. He's like, hey, do you know who this person is? And it's like super long of him doing mouthing. And then it's just, I don't know, at the very end. I thought that was cool. That was cool.
There's a couple parts like that, or like when the dog barks and it's like super delayed.
Yes. So good. So the dude who made the music for this also made the music for the Neverending Story, which is like kind of a weird, a super weird crossover.
That's a guy. You bring him
Yeah.
in. He's like, oh yeah, we got the guy from Neverending Story, and they're like, wow, really? He's like,
Or
yeah, he's in my poker
The
club.
guy from Neverending Story hasn't done anything since the 80s. And so he's like, I'll do anything. I'll even
haven't
do
let
Kung
me-
Pao.
They haven't let me back since I wrote the music that killed that horse. So,
Yes. Exactly. So
I
Clay, are
have-
you going to say something?
I have a question. I may have beaten Tim on this. Tim, on the DVD, did you ever watch it with the audio as what they're actually saying?
yes, I have.
Okay.
100%. It is a very different story.
It is a very different story.
I thought they
So
just talked a bunch of nonsense, right?
They
No,
cut-
there's
Wait a
a
minute.
different script.
There's
Oh,
a
wow.
different script.
Wait, so is it the actual like original movie, or is it still with like the Kung Pao actor in
So,
it?
so if my memory serves, when it goes to the scenes with the original actors and like the old kung fu movie, they're speaking, and then when it's the like Odenkirk and everyone else talking acting, they're actually saying a real script. That
Yep.
it's just like it's nonsense.
Yeah, like he would like one line he'll be like Yahtzee is a family game, and then he'll
He's like-
dub
he-
something over it afterwards.
Yeah.
He's like ting tang, walla walla bing bang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how they wanted that like delayed thing to spoof.
Yeah,
so that's how they
definitely.
got it. There were a bunch of deleted scenes in the DVD. Actually, did you guys actually watch any of those?
Oh, yeah.
How were
looked
they?
like they
Because some of
already
them
had a-
sounded crazy.
So, number one, they're very good. Number two, it seems like they already had half of the second movie done, which now, almost 20 years later, still has not come out.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they had a pretty solid plot. They had a whole bunch of stuff in there in the deleted scenes that were like, well, this wasn't in here at all. There's characters that aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
The one I want to
Put a
see
lot of
the
effort into
most, the one I want to see the most was a fight where the chosen one is like his hands and legs are bound together, and he uses his dick to fight them because it's the only appendage that isn't like tied down. There's a whole
I
scene they
forgot
filmed
about
of that.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he's blocking moves with his dick through his pants. Yeah, it's
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah, I gotta search this out, but also I'm scared to search this out. So maybe if you
It's
own
like
the
3
DVD,
feet
send it to
long,
me.
too.
Is it
I
really?
can't tell you how many. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times over the years I've done the dead arm, like swinging at people.
Yeah.
Like,
That was pretty
That's
funny.
true. I have always seen you do that. I never knew
Now you
what
know
it
where
was
I got it
from.
from.
We just thought you were doing the Bernie.
Well, I thought he was just like salmoning.
So let's see here. Was there anything else that I was going to? Because it's so. Have you ever watched the original martial arts movie? Actually, not like their dub over you were talking about, but like the actual '70s martial arts movie this was based off of.
No.
I really should have. I always intended to, but never did.
Yeah, I heard it's not good, so I didn't actually take the time. But it's out there, so you can see it. I forget what the name of it is. It's what the translation is. It was something weird, like something with
It was
like
really long.
well, it's something with crane in the name. I can't remember
Yes.
specifically, but it has like crane in the name.
Well, because they were a crane school, specifically kung fu, that they were training at or whatever.
It's what Daniel-san did in Karate Kid. You know, he was part of the crane school doing the crane kick and all that. So I could not handle that baby scene though at the beginning. Like not having ever seen this movie and thinking I did, and then starting with that scene, I was almost like, how am I going to make this? How am I going to make it through this? Until they did the pick up and be like, oh, it's a cute baby, and then roll it down the hill again. I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah. Yep. No. Yeah. When Baby Geniuses 2, pretty early there
Yes.
with the baby fight scene, I was like, "Ugh." But then they roll that baby down a hill for 3 consecutive minutes, and it's like, all right,
Yeah, it's a
you
little.
got me.
I do appreciate that tiny nipples are represented in this movie with Steve Odekirk. It makes me feel good about myself.
It's true.
They put it on display too. You know,
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
They don't. Kung Pao doesn't shy away from the tiny topics.
No, the very tiny topics. They zoom in on it too. So does this tongue have a stomach? Because he feeds the tongue at one point, and that then leads me into my next question. Does the stomach just poop into his throat?
So I think it works like one of those parasites that eat out a fish's tongue and then replaces it by then, consuming and then pooping directly in his throat. Yes.
It was
I
all
think
that
it poops in his throat.
Yeah, so tongue is actually way more gross than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I couldn't get over that. The tongue thing kind of grossed me out. There's just something about it where I'm like, that doesn't look natural.
No, I thought it looked completely realistic out of all the animated tongues that I've seen in real life.
Yeah.
I thought it was one for one.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you know what's nice about this movie is it feels kind of like a Monty Python, like flying circus episode, which is really, really nice because I'm a big fan of that. But I almost feel like they went too far. Like I feel like Monty Python even knew when to stop, or like Tim Robinson or something. I just feel like Steve Odekirk doesn't know when to stop. It just keeps going and going and going, which I understand, Tim, why you love that, because I feel like that's like your joke style, right? Like just keep going with it until
drive it into the ground.
Yeah,
over and over and over
as
again.
they just covered like 2 weeks ago.
The Daniel Tosh style.
Yes,
Oh
exactly.
God,
Yep.
Did you guys stick around for the post-credit teaser?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Joe?
No.
Well, it's not much. It's
I
not.
saw how they made it, like during the credits.
Yeah, the bloopers.
I like
yeah.
that part.
That part was cool. Definitely, like they were doing some fun stuff back in 2002, which is when this movie came out. So it is the 20th anniversary this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Didn't Cam point out that it is to the day, the anniversary?
it was released on January 25th. So yes, as we're recording it today, yes.
That's today.
That's today. We planned it. We definitely planned that.
Tim, you saw this
Wow.
movie in theaters 20 years ago.
I did.
Holy cow!
Wow. That's
Yeah,
my
how does that
memory. Real good. It was a simpler time, It was
Yep.
just. I wish I could go back to those days.
Could you
when I
tell
felt
us-
joy?
Could you tell us how
Laughter.
it felt when popcorn was only 25 cents?
Oh man, and it was at the cheap theater too. So your options as far as candy were, I
Flies
think,
or no flies?
old sweet tarts and like Luden's cough drops.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
That'd be really
But-
helpful for me tonight. So
Yeah.
can we go back to those times?
And they were also very cheap.
Yeah.
There was no one in the theater. There was like in that theater too. It was like barred off at the front. The entire front half of the theater was like an area you couldn't walk on because you would fall through the floor and go to the theater below you. So it was a nice time of danger.
Yeah, you're going to a cheap theater when you look behind you and you see Paul Rubens there.
So he grew up in my town. He lived across the street from my father.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're shooting a documentary here right now, asking for people that might have like memorabilia and stuff from him. Before he moved to Florida, he lived, a couple blocks away from where I live now.
Oh,
My
that's
grandma.
crazy. I was just making a joke, but hey, man, there you go.
No, yeah, and it actually used to be Paul Reuben Feld, and then he changed it when he became all Hollywood.
Oh yeah, because you don't want them,
they do
in Hollywood. You want them to know you're just Jewish enough. That's how it goes.
Correct.
Even
so my
Jordan
grandma
thought about changing his name when he moved away.
To what?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Finish the joke. I tried to set you up, Joe.
Yeah, but I didn't have anything to go with it.
So my grandma had the scrap collection of all of Pee Wee Herman's old stuff. So it was like him at my uncle's like 12th birthday party holding a goodie bag, and then like his mugshot right next to it. She was so proud of him and everything that he did, regardless of what it was he did.
That's just big media trying to bring him down.
Yeah. You're in a porn theater. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, come on. We all know what we're doing there. This was originally supposed to be an animated film, actually, so I wasn't too far off the mark when I thought it was animated for some reason. In fact, on Amazon Prime, the like picture they have for it when you click on it is an animated.
It's it is My Hero Academia. They're showing in the back.
Yeah. So why? What's
that,
going on at Amazon Prime?
I don't know.
It's like a glitch or
Prime,
something.
But My Hero Academia, great anime. Highly recommend.
100%.
Well, there you go.
Is it like
I've never
Big
actually
Hero
watched
6?
My Hero Academia. I never watched Avatar until you guys told me to now, and I love it. So maybe I should listen to you more.
Avatar's another great anime.
Yeah, it's really
Avatar's
good.
great. Though I did watch Legend of Korra, and it wasn't nearly as good.
Not nearly as good. I did love the premise of bringing technology into the aspect of it all. It was cool.
That was cool.
Tim, more off-topic stuff. We should do a drinking game. We should watch My Hero Academia and take a shot every time the main character cries.
Listen, I'm down, but like I need to clear a weekend for it.
Spoiler: he cries a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Oh wow, is he just a sad boy, or why does he cry so much?
He
gets overwhelmed very easily. That's a superpower.
Oh, okay, well, it's a superpower.
Mm-hmm. His superpower is taking his mental health seriously and letting it out instead of keeping it in.
Hey, we all need that superpower, man.
Right?
That's so fun.
I will say, this movie really should be considered animated because, quite frankly, there's not a lot of actual live action shots in it.
That's true.
It's mostly his face superimposed over other people.
That is a good point.
Yeah. That's from the strict definition of animated, yeah, sure. I could see that. Mm-hmm.
And if Cam were here, he'd probably have something really smart to say about it.
Or pretentious.
Something about a Dutch angle.
Yes.
So I'll channel my inner Cam and do it for him. So you may be wondering why the movie Balto could have been shown on the Cartoon Network, because the intro and outro of the movie is actually live action. It's a grandmother showing a statue to her grandchild. Now, if you flipped to Cartoon Network and you saw a live action, you'd be like, this obviously can't be an animated movie. But because 95% or more of the movie is filmed within an animation studio that allows it to get through. You are allowed a certain amount of mice poop in your hot dog as you are allowed a certain amount of live action in your animated film.
Wow, that's
it's like he's here.
It's we don't even need Cam anymore. We just need Tim.
Right? Listen, I can fill in.
Love it so much. All right, guys. I have other things to say about this movie. I don't know if I can say them though. Is the problem?
You're on the struggle bus, bud.
Really bad. So what do you guys think? I don't know. I'm struggling here. What do you think?
I mean, I tried
Kim
not
wasn't going to
to
be able to be here tonight.
I thought by pushing this back 2 days to record with you, Tim, I would have not had trouble, but I'm still struggling, I guess. So that didn't work.
I believe in you personally.
Thank
I know
you.
that Joe doesn't, but I'm here for you.
I believe in you. Ish.
Yeah, ish. So let's see here. What's the whole? I guess that's stupid of me to ask. I was going to say, what's the deal with the French aliens? I guess it's just supposed to be random, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this story, part of my problem is that it's so hard to follow, and I guess that's by design, that I just was like, so this isn't actually a story. This is just them being ridiculous the whole time.
It reminded me of like those like Smosh videos we used to watch from on like E-Bombs World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's just like, just say whatever because it's gonna be funny. Just be funny, essentially.
I think
Try
it's
to
one
keep
of
the
those,
story going, but
I think it's one of those things where like they purposely, if it didn't make sense, it made sense for their movie.
That's true. I feel like I'm shocked that this got a theatrical release.
I'm shocked about that part too. Does this movie actually have a sequel?
No.
Oh.
No,
Only
it
in
doesn't.
spirit.
It had a $10 million budget though.
Wow,
that's crazy.
That's
That's
kind
a
of
lot of
10
money.
million?
10
Yeah.
million. Mm-hmm.
How much did
And
it
it made
gross?
16 million.
Hey,
It was profitable?
Yep,
That's
it was.
money.
I guess I never assumed that.
Yep, it was.
As a huge Die Hard fan, I just always assumed that this was an absolute waste of money.
No, it made money.
Dreams happen.
Wow.
that's
So
crazy.
here's the next thing everyone loves. Let's guess what the Rotten Tomatoes score is then.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh. 46.
You gotta
For
guess
critic or for
and-
audience?
you gotta-
For
you gotta guess both.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so for critic, 13. For audience, 46.
Okay. Joe, what about you?
Oh, go ahead, Gregor.
Nope, he said Joe.
Okay. Critic. Ooh, 20. And audience, 69.
Okay. Kreger.
I'm gonna go critic 22 and audience 37.
Okay, so critic is 13. So Tim got that.
Whoa!
Audience, 69.
Oh my god!
Nice.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Nice. I feel like the audience did
High
that on
five, Tim.
purpose.
Yeah.
We're freaking Blizzard Activision over here.
Yeah, you guys know your stuff. Dang. So there was some parts that were filmed in Steve Odekirk's pool, which is kind of funny to me. Some of the waterfall scenes apparently were filmed in his pool, and I'm like, how did that work? Like, do you have a
That is
waterfall in your
incredible.
pool? What is
He probably
going on?
does.
Apparently,
The fact
to
they
that
had a $10
waterfall.
million budget.
Yeah, and they're filming
Yeah,
in
go
his
for it.
pool with a $10 million budget. I know that's crazy. Apparently, though, I didn't catch it, but in the scene where they go down the waterfall, you can see the Titanic at the bottom.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
I missed
didn't
that.
notice that.
No,
Yeah, I totally missed it.
It's right when they first are about to show the waterfall. The Titanic is in the bottom with all the rock and pebble everywhere.
Oh, that's funny.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Really?
And they animated a whale in it, and you could
Yes.
barely see it.
Yeah,
they were
barely.
just throwing money at animators. That's what I
Okay,
appreciate
wait.
about
I
this.
do have a question. There's this like weird, like animated, like alien creature, like looking thing in there. What was that?
What was that?
Listen, they were going to jump over a wall. Sometimes you need to animate some weird thing in there. They
Yeah,
had money to blow, and they were going to blow it.
It was like this dude know how to use a
We gotta
computer,
spend
and he's
this
like,
$10
I got to do it. I just got to do it.
Matt, it was foreshadowing for the twist ending. You know.
Yes.
That's true. So the cow
Maybe-
fight. Yeah, go for it, Tim.
Maybe they had a plan for it for the sequel.
Oh, maybe.
Ah.
You know?
Yeah, we needed more of
Rise
what's-
of Betty.
Yes, Rise of Betty. What's the one boobed chick's name? Is her name like Woe or something?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
Whoa.
She was supposed to be in the sequel a lot more, apparently. So, I mean, I'm kind of bummed about that. They were like, Total Recall's got 3 boobs. We got 1.
There you go.
Let's go the other way.
The other way.
Minimalist.
Ghost boobs over here. I think
I'm kind of shocked that, like, as a passion project, you made money off that. Like, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
for real.
that is pretty incredible. What was the production company that did this? Was it his own, or was there actually a major studio behind it? I don't remember seeing
Sure.
anything at the beginning.
It was 20th Century Fox, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay, so
Yeah, it was.
that's so crazy to me that 20th Century Fox paid for this.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Even more surprising that 20th Century Fox made money off this.
Yes, kids.
That's my mind's still blown about that.
Yeah.
Kids, if you want to make something, this is out there by 20th century. So is this a Disney movie?
Well, they could have. No, they probably could have done.
Oh my god.
This is now a
There's
Disney
a Disney
movie.
princess.
Yeah,
What was it Disney?
that's crazy.
Oh my god.
They may
can't
have
wait to go
only
to
done
Disneyland.
20th Century Fox for distribution.
Oh, it wasn't like
Oh,
production;
yeah.
it was just distribution.
It could have been.
I just
Yeah.
remember in the trailer it saying 20th Century Fox presents, so I had no idea whether if they were actually involved or not.
Yeah, it's how the movie starts too. So I mean, it could be Disney now.
That is crazy to think about. Oh my
That's
gosh.
the one thing they left behind. They were like, nah,
Yeah, nah,
nah.
we don't need it. Just leave it. It's fine.
He shows up in the MCU, the chosen one.
If
his
you
own
look,
show.
if you look in Endgame on the left bottom corner of the screen,
He's the bad guy
there.
in Shang-Chi too, I think, actually.
I love when he punches the hole in some guy, and the like announcer person, he's like, "Whoa, look at that! It was like a perfect circle. There's like bones and like cartilage and like all this stuff in there, and it just all came out all at once."
That's like his stomach plug on the ground back there.
Oh, so
and
funny.
then he came back for the sequel.
He did. With
Yes.
his- one of my favorite parts was Gopher Chucks. I totally forgot about that until you just said that right now. I was like, oh god, that part was killer.
So respectful. He gives them a nod as he tosses them off after he beats all those ninjas with those gophers. The POV cam on the Gopher Chucks I felt was very classy. You know, the real
Oh, yeah.
chew brick shot.
Very, very classy over here. That cow fight scene is inspired by a television commercial that actually aired in 2000.
Huh.
Yeah, that's right, by the Swiss Milk Producers Association.
Those crazy Swiss.
And get this,
I feel like I've seen this.
the cow
probably have
fights
too.
the character Forrest Law from the Tekken franchise.
Nope, haven't seen this.
How
What?
random is this commercial?
That's insane.
We're gonna, yeah.
We
Yeah,
gotta
that's
look
a
this one
weird.
up.
That's a weird commercial, right? Yeah,
There's a lot involved in that sentence.
there is a lot of things that the normal person might not understand there. That's all my facts I have here. I feel like I didn't. So the girl, the like, what's the main girl's name who has like the weird baby hair on the side and stuff?
Ling.
Ling, her name Ling. She her voice reminds me of Miss
Her name
Piggy.
Ling. Oh, that was very bad. I regret that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you didn't think she
I didn't
sounded
get
like Miss
Piggy from
Piggy?
it.
Oh, she
Oh.
does.
Oh yeah, I've never thought about that, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like I was like every time I could not stop thinking about it. I was just like,
Especially when she's yelling, "You should be able to beat him now!" Like it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
It's
100%.
100% Miss Piggy. I also wrote down here that it's got everything you need: boobs, martial arts, and fisting jokes.
Boob.
Sorry, boob, martial arts, and fisting jokes. What more do you need in a movie?
I remember as a blossoming young child being very disgruntled that we see the backside of her when she's flashing. I remember being
Well,
very
she's shy
disgruntled as a child.
at first.
Yeah.
She's shy. She doesn't want you to think she's a slut.
Yes, it's true.
That's very accurate.
The other thing I wrote down at the very beginning is Steve Odekirk as the chosen one reminds me of Garth from Wayne's World. Like the way he's like doing his facial features, I was just like, oh my gosh, why am I getting Garth vibes from this? Like, did you guys feel that at all, or am I just?
I can
like,
kind of see that.
Am I just
I can
trying
see
to
it now.
extrapolate things here?
So actually, very specifically, the scene after that first initial fight where he's like screaming and then the blood spurts out of his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I see that actually really hard.
Yeah. So
Very Dana Carvey.
yeah, and I was loving that. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, but. That's all I wrote down. Do you guys have anything else that you like noticed while watching the movie 10 years later?
I will just say, like, I was very nervous rewatching this because I was like, I have a bad feeling this is not going to hold up, and I don't know if I could rank it at holding up, but it's just on the cusp of like still nostalgically funny.
It does what it
Yeah,
needs to do.
It may
Yeah.
not have been that it held up. It may have just been that I was able to remember every line all the way through the movie. as I was rewatching it.
Mm.
So it's definitely one of those two. It either held up or I was able to remember all the lines. It's
Or
certainly
both.
not both. I don't think it is both.
You don't think it's both? No,
No,
you don't think so? No, not all the above.
No.
Yeah, I'll say one thing about it. It doesn't try to be anything other than what it is.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
From the very start, it's the same from beginning to end.
It is nothing if not persistent.
Yes, I would have had a blast working on this movie. I feel like that's the one thing I took away from this is, hey, if you're gonna have a good time, other people are gonna have a good time too. So,
It's like I said, it seemed like something that we would all do. And in fact, I even had myself asking,
should we do
why
it?
haven't we done this yet?
I agree.
And to be fair, this wasn't an original idea of his either.
Oh, no.
Because the Power Rangers did it first.
Well, Woody Allen did What's Up, Tiger Lily? That was a redubbed old martial arts flick. Like, the whole entire premise was kind of just lifted from that. But what Woody Allen didn't do was make the entire movie about him, superimposing his head and doing all the voices, especially when you have a huge cast and a huge budget to be like, wow, we can really do everything. No, I'm going to voice everything. And you will put my face over anyone I want you to put my face over. And that's it. I adored that.
It's true.
I am shocked Woody Allen did a version of this. I had no idea.
Yep.
That's classy.
I feel like I've heard that before.
You're a bit sweepy, Vega.
Yeah. COVID takes it out of you going back to work. I'll tell you what. 10-hour
Oh, I
days.
bet. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think we'll probably end it here so that I'm not coughing up a storm anymore in people's ears. I apologize. It was a rough episode. I'm sorry, Tim, that you had to be on this one. We'll have you back on for another one where I'm not coughing up a storm over here. But if you want to check out some of our other episodes, go check them out. Also go to wreckmypodcast.com, our Patreon. But Tim, why don't you tell them where they can find all your shows? Also, you know what? Just to fill time, why don't you tell them about your promo codes, about the people who take out the trash? Why don't you tell them about Built Bar? Why don't you tell them about REPP Sports?
Yeah, so if you want to check out all of that great stuff, you can go over to professionalcasual.com. We have a ton of actual plays in both the Warhammer universe and Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which is D&D, but not... It's D&D. And then, yeah, Elite 8 Showdown's there. It's all over at professionalcasual.com. We got everything, YouTubes and Twitches and all that nonsense, but that's the place to go do it.
Yeah, what's your favorite one? Because you do like D&D, Warhammer, all that. But what's your favorite game to play? Not necessarily a show you do, but what's your favorite just game to play? If you were not going to record and you were just going to sit down and play one of these, what would you pick?
That's rough. I don't know.
Pick your favorite child.
Ooh. I guess Smash Brothers. I love Super Smash Brothers.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
A lot. You can play it with kids, you can play it with adults, you can shit talk, or you can just have fun with it. It's a super versatile game. I really enjoy it.
Have you guys thought about doing any like video game type like Twitch stuff for your channel?
Yeah, we absolutely have. It's mostly we have like
Hey,
19
I-
shows at this point, so it's just mostly a matter of finding time.
I mean,
But-
I remember while I was in Georgia, I played Among Us with you guys on Twitch.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did a Patreon day where we invited a bunch of people from the Patreon to play Among Us with us, and it was a lot of fun. We need to do that more.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We've been playing League of Legends with people since Arcane came out, and we've all kind of been super into that on Netflix. I don't know if you guys checked.
Were you a fan of it?
Oh, huge.
Yeah, Joe's
loved
the one who
it.
turned me on to it.
Oh, I adored it. It was so well done. Like I've gushed about that show. It is so good.
Is the episode that you're on of the Carton Cast
Yes.
available yet?
Yes, it is. I believe so.
Okay.
Yes,
he's-
go
I
check
think
out Medium Sized Ben. Is that who does that show?
Yes, medium sized Ben. He's one of the.
wasn't Chuck saying he needs to come on our show?
Yeah, I think so. So Chuck. I mean, if you've listened to the show, you know what the one thing that bothers Chuck the most is taking things from him. So if you take his friends and bring them on your show, yeah, that'll That'll stab him right in the heart.
I forgot to mention that you have put a call to your fans to do reviews on other people's podcasts of your show, and we got one of them, so that's pretty fun.
So that was something. I think Chuck has been trying to get 55-star reviews on Elite 8 Showdown for a while now. He has an episode planned, and he's super excited about it, but we're just not getting the reviews. So we made a call to action to leave 5-star reviews literally anywhere but Elite 8 Showdown, but for Elite 8 Showdown. So we have one listener who has left them on like Dateline 2020, a Jason Sudeikis podcast. Like literally he's going like to the top listened to podcasts and leaving 5-star reviews for Elite 8 Showdown on their show. And I couldn't be more happy with it.
Yeah, I love that.
Funny.
I love that gimmick. That is like so ingenious. And I'm proud to have been a victim of it.
You know, that's I think at the end of the day, that's what we're really happy with about it. It's like, you know what? We're spreading positivity to other people. We will continue to be the negative center of the internet. But as long as we can make sure that other people can benefit from it, we might as well.
Yes. One thing I want to mention here before we sign off, Cam's name just popped up, so it looks like he might show up for the end. Oh, for the second time? Well, then never mind. I'm not waiting on him.
Well, no,
see
the
if he
second
shows
time in
up.
like 10 seconds.
Oh, obviously he heard my impression of him and was like,
It went through the ether. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Also,
And
I
I'm
was sitting on my
surprised Chuck
grandstand.
hasn't signed on yet.
Yeah, I was sitting on my
Oh,
grandstand.
he's upstairs. We told him it's an intervention, so he's up there patiently waiting.
Chuck talks all this about wanting to keep his friends close, yet he refuses to follow me back on TikTok so I can send him TikToks. So he's missing out.
I mean,
He
that's
doesn't follow you on TikTok?
No, he
Well, so-
he refuses to acknowledge I exist most of the time.
Yeah, so you got to understand that he is, in fact, one of the people that has access to the professional casual TikTok. So he sees the messages that come in.
Yes, but he's losing out on the ability for me to send personal ones to him.
That's true. That's
Yes.
true.
yeah. And you know, we're gonna end this episode here, and I just want to say, Big Chuck, you're looking real good. You're doing real good,
Isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I know he's probably the only one who's listening this far, because he's a true fan over here.
He's a true
and a
fan.
true friend.
Of us, not Tim's.
Yes.
No, not Tim at all.
He is
No,
he's one of the-
contractually obligated.
He is one of the dearest friends who he just knows how much we're rooting for him and how great we think he's doing.
He's doing amazing.
We-
He's looking amazing. It's great. I saw he went back to the gym. He's really
Honestly,
getting into it.
I gotta say, his bussy is looking quite nice.
Big Chuck's bussy is swole.
It is swole. Mhm. The
One of
swollest
the
I've ever
swolest
seen.
bussies.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
swole.
Yeah.
Gotta walk through door sideways.
All right. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Tim, thank you for being here. It's been a lot of
Absolutely,
fun.
Thank you.
We will see you all next week.
I like and I love you all.
That's a little nuts! Wreck My Podcast. Wreck My Podcast.
I am so sorry, guys.
That's
I
all
feel bad.
good.
Joel, when did you first start feeling sick?
Like 2 weeks ago, and I've been so
Oh,
fine. I've been
wow.
going to the gym and running and stuff. I don't know what happened. I think I
There's your
laughed.
problem.
I laughed too hard one time here while we were talking, and it just put the tickle
That's
in my
funny,
throat,
yeah.
and I couldn't get rid of it.
Because I got it not Friday like a few days ago, but the Friday before is when I first got sick. And yeah, it knocked me up for about a good week, and then I was doing all right, and then going back to work, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I know. Sorry that it was so rough. Tim, I'm going to have you on another episode because I'm
Absolutely.
not coughing,
Yes.
because there was a lot of banter I wanted to do, and I couldn't say anything. And I'm just like, I'm going to start coughing, and it's not going to be
Also, I got to say, Tim, because I only listen to your guys' podcast while I'm at work, and so every time I listen, and there's like
That's the
things like,
safest place to listen to it.
It is. Well, I definitely
He's a
don't
welder,
have.
so.
I definitely don't have earbuds in while I'm working, boss. So like every time I listen, like I need to like respond somehow to these things, and I have such great ideas, but just after work, they're just never gonna happen. So there are things that I have planned to retaliate with, but whether they actually come to fruition, we don't know.
It just depends on how lazy Krager is.
I am very lazy.
Yes. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go blow my nose.
Okay. Well, that
might help.
I was trying to give you an out there.
Thank you.
So Joe's review, just because I don't want this to go into the podcast, so I'm hoping that Jordan will cut it out. Joe's review of it being a train wreck that you couldn't look away from, that wasn't good, but you followed it all the way through, is how my wife has described sex with me. So it's pretty much one for one.
Yes, I agree with whatever you just said.
Oh, fuck you, Jordan.
I agree with all of it.
When you listen back, this will be even better.
What's going on with Krager? What's going on, Krager?
I'm getting the booster, but I scheduled it before I got COVID. Oh yeah, I had COVID, by the way, Tim. I realized you probably didn't know that.
I didn't.
Yeah, I got the Ronies.
Oh man!
Of course, after the government paid for it, so now poor me.
Sad boy meme right there.
Yeah, I'm like, the year is not even a month old, and I have no more sick days. Yay!
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So, should I have a COVID booster shot after I go?
This feels like something important to figure out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
I don't think it's a big deal. I'll let the people know.
Yeah, just let the pharmacy guy know. Okay, I'm gonna bring
people know.
Let's bring into the episode so we can get it like out of the way, so Krager's not any strapped for time.
Hold on, I'm
Wreck My Podcast.